Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm going to reveal my Game Week 12 team, or at the very least the decisions that I plan to make, because there's still a few flags and so I need to find out what's going to be happening in the press conferences later this week. I'll also quickly look back on Game Week 11, which seems like quite a while ago, and I'll be looking in detail at a couple of 50-50 calls I and others are considering this week. I'll also see how far I am from the ideal wildcard. I did a wildcard draft video and podcast earlier during the international break, so do have a look at that for more detail about that. But I'll show the team and chat about it a little bit here. Before I do that, I just wanted to plug the Goals Imminent podcast I do every Thursday with Mark Joblin from Fantasy Football Scout. We look at underperforming, low-owned players for managers to consider to shake up the template. Also do have a look at Fantasy Football Scout members area, all the stats and any visuals I get on this show and others from there. And do press that like button, really helps us out. And do leave a 5-star review if you're listening to the podcast version, and also do subscribe wherever you're listening to this, also on YouTube. Keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Okay, let's briefly have a look at Game Week 11. I'll keep this brief because it was so long ago and who cares, to be honest. A small red arrow, I was about 620k down to 649k, got 57 points, which is a bit above the average. But a red arrow nevertheless. Flecken 1 point, Alexander-Arnold 1 point, Gabriel 2 points, Lewis 0 points. I got on the wrong side of Lewis v Mikalenko. Mikalenko 6 points still on my bench. I also got on the wrong side of Verbruggen v Flecken. Will I make the same decision this week? Verbruggen got 3 points, Flecken 1. Johnson 2 points, Armour 2, and Bomo got an assist. Salah, my hero, 28 points, thank you very much. Chris Wood didn't do anything, a rare blank for him. Solanke blanked as well against Ipswich, that was a surprise. Solanke was new in for me. I swapped out Havertz for Solanke. I was free up a tiny bit of money and also felt that was such a good fixture, I didn't want to pass it up. But now I immediately regret that move and I think I'm just going to take my mistake. But he got 1 point more than Havertz, so even if I take him out for a hit at some point, I'll consider that a 3-point hit, not a 4-point hit. And Cunha, another hero of mine, 12 points. Fantastic. Verbruggen, 3 points. Rogers on my bench was just 1. And Greaves, who should be back, got nothing because he didn't play. So lots to consider. I'm happy with a lot of my team. I'm unhappy with others. There's a couple of flags as well. Players I might be targeting, for example, Sacka is also flagged as well. I mentioned I did a wildcard draft video. I'll just put that team up again. Do have a look at this. I do chat about this in detail. I also plot its path all the way up to Game Week 16. This has got Verbruggen in goal. I actually like him, but with Fabianski backing him up, so that'll be new in. I'm about 7 players short, but there's only really 2 players I feel I want but don't have in my current team. So it's for Verbruggen in goal. Lewis Hall, I think, is very handy, very great enabler. Gabriel is already in my team. Kanate, I wouldn't mind instead of Alexander-Arnold, but I'm not, not necessity. Sacka, as a player, I'm definitely targeting. Arsenal's fixtures are great. Maybe not at home to Nottingham Forest. Pretty good fixture, but he's got better to come. Palmer in my team already. Brian and Bomo, Salah and Rogers, they're all in my team already. Isak, he would be new in if I was going for a wild card now. He's at home to West Ham. He's got good fixtures coming up as well. I think he's probably the best of that sort of price range. I think he's 8.5 now. I think he might have gone up in price. And Cunha, I mean, there's no reason to get rid of him. 6.6 million pounds worth of lovely FPL points. It's really some of the other changes I would make. Maybe João Pedro instead of Chris Wood, but I would actually probably bench him this week with that team. Fabianski I mentioned. 8 Nori I might go for, but I'm not desperate for 8 Nori, and I'll probably still have someone like Greaves just because they play, but it's just a 4 million player. So looking at this this is what I think is the perfect wild card for Game Week 12. So for me, it's really only Sacka and Isak that I would want above those Spurs assets. But I don't mind Spurs assets going forward. Just don't particularly like them this week against Man City. So it's just what I need to sort out with my team is how I get those as well. So here's a few 50-50 calls I've been thinking about. So Solanke against Isak. I could just keep Solanke this week. But, will I get that sort of fear of missing out that I got with Solanke last week? Am I going to just do this every week? Just waste all my transfers on swapping strikers every week? I hope not. And that's why I want Isak, really. Solanke is in the Spurs team, and Spurs are Spursy. Newcastle aren't Newcastle-y, no one says that, but people say Spurs are Spursy. So Isak is probably the one I want. So this, I had a look at the comparison tool at Fantasy Football Scout members area. Isak's marginally better in terms of overall. So this looks at things like, shots on target, looking at, all of the usual metrics, big chances, bonus point accumulation, that type of thing. But at the same time, I mean, what it also does is it shows that in 8 of the key metrics, Isak is better. So sorry, just while I'm doing that, I'm just getting the exact figures up on my screen here, just so that they are at hand for me. But yeah, so I mean, just for those listening to the podcast version, Isak's on 54%, and Solanke's on 46%. So basically, they're pretty equal there. But Solanke in certain key metrics is only better in +3, whereas Isak's better in +8, which is better. And the heat map shows Solanke is pretty much down the middle. He's the guy in the middle, but he's also in the centre circle quite a lot, obviously kicking off. But he's sort of outside of the goal space, whereas Isak's sort of all over the attacking half of the pitch. He's in the box, he's around the box, so he's got assist and obviously corner, obviously shot potential there, but also he is on penalties as well. I don't even know if Solanke's on penalties. He was obviously at Bournemouth, but we don't know yet. So in terms of their average sort of stats per match, so this is, I've done it, their average stats per match, because obviously they haven't played an equal amount of games. But in terms of XG, for example, so there's 0.6 each game for Solanke, 0.5 for Isak. So Solanke's better in that regard. But there's certain other things as well. So, for example, touches in the opponent's half, touches in the final third, these types of things that are good for a striker, are better for Isak as well. Bonus points, Solanke's marginally better, but I think Isak, I think, will improve on that as well. But yeah, that does bode well for Solanke there. So I could just keep him and hope for the best, really. And there's also attempts from set plays. Isak's marginally better. So you can see that there's a whole... They're quite equal, though. I could just keep Solanke and just hope he scores against Man City. And he's got Fulham up next as well. So I'm interested in doing that, but I just the lure of Isak as well. And it was Isak's a bit more. So I want to get Haaland at some point, probably at back, maybe game week 18, 19, 20. And I think Isak, just be that little bit more. I think he's going to keep going up in price. Will just get me to Haaland a bit simply. Solanke maybe not. And yeah, I mean, basically as well, if you're getting a striker in from a good attacking side, and then they blank against Ipswich, that sends alarm bells going. And I don't know if Isak's that sort of player. I think Solanke or other Spurs is that sort of player. So another issue I was considering, but I'm probably not now, but I know other people are, is whether to get Bruno Fernandez in. He's got 2 great fixtures coming up with Ipswich and then Everton, but then the fixtures drop off a cliff, and that's put me off a bit. Also, with the new manager, I don't know how they're going to perform. But with Sacka, I sort of know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the occasional haul, but I'm going to get an assist or 2 every week, a goal maybe every couple of weeks, that type of thing. He's going to be involved. I did a similar thing with the comparison tool. Had a look at both of them. In terms of they're broadly around half each as well. 47% towards Fernandez, 53% to Sacka. So Saka's marginally got the edge. It's a big difference though in terms of the key metrics there. So Bruno Fernandez is better than Sacka in one regard, and I haven't actually looked through to see which one that is yet. It may even just be simply price. And Sacka in +10. So pretty much in every regard, really, Sacka is performing better at the moment. But that was because, I mean, Bruno Fernandez has a checkered season so far, under Ten Hag, then under Van Nistelrooy. He's going to be under a new manager. I don't know where he's going to play there. Pretty certain he'll play in an attacking midfield role or number 10 role. but he might not. The heat map here shows Fernandez all over the place. He's everywhere. He's on the corners. He on both sides. He is attacking from both sides. He's completely in the middle. He's not actually in the penalty box much though. Whereas Sacka, he is just absolutely dominating that right-hand side, and he's absolutely red hot around the penalty box there. So he's doing what he does. He goes down that flank and then he cuts inside onto his other foot. And that's what you're showing here. This is like in heat map version. So I think Saka's very strong for me. So I think Sacka for me has won that debate, because I'm not going to wildcard again until, I don't know, game week 30 or something. And so I want to set this up for sort of more long term. And Fernandez, I know he's cheaper, but he might be in and out, and I just don't know. We got games to see, so we've got 5 more games to see how he's going to fare there. Okay, let's have a look at my team for next week. So where that goes in. So I haven't made any changes yet. I've only got 1 free transfer, and I'm not averse to taking a hit, because you never know after the international break. You get some odd scores as well. And I feel my team is 2 or 3 players away from that perfect wildcard team that I showed you. And so for that, I want to rectify that. I don't mind catching up a bit using a hit, a rare hit. I haven't had a hit yet this season. I hopefully won't make too many. I think I only made 2 or 3 last season. And that's sort of normal for me. I think 5 to 6 maybe is a pretty average for me. So I'm not, but I'm not averse to taking a hit if it means I can sort of catch up or take advantage of double game week, that type of thing. So I'm going into game week 12 with Verbruggen in goal. I'm going to play Verbruggen over Flecken. I know Flecken has the better fixture away to Everton. He hasn't kept a clean sheet yet. And Verbruggen, even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, he's outscoring Flecken just by saves. And he's not conceding so many, so would not put it past Everton to score 1 or 2. I don't even think it would be Calvert-Lewin, but I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know. I might reconsider that one, but I think Verbruggen's going to get me marginally more points, hopefully. And also, I just want to just settle into playing Verbruggen. I've got Alexander-Arnold. He's flagged. He's a big doubt going into this game. If he is a big doubt there, I've got Mikalenko only on my bench there, so I'd play him, but then I would have to play Rico Lewis at home to Tottenham. I'm not so keen on that. It's not the end of the world to do that, but I've got to weigh up whether just to spend a hit to get someone like Lewis Hall in would be worthwhile, because then next week I can then get Sacka in for Johnson. So anyway, I'll go through my team. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I've got Alexander-Arnold, Gabriel Lewis, Rodgers, Palmer, my vice-captain, away to Leicester, Brian Mbomo, and Mo Salah, who's my captain, away to Southampton. Fielding Chris Wood currently. Solanke is away to Man City. I'm fielding him. Cunha away to Fulham. So it's not an ideal side at the moment. I would like to change Solanke to Isak. I would like to change Alexander-Arnold to Lewis Hall, and that gives me the money to change Brennan Johnson into Sacka. I don't want that's 2 hits. I don't want to make that move now, but the things I'm weighing up is simply Solanke to Isak, play Chris Wood. I'm okay with that. Play Alexander-Arnold. If he's out, Mikalenko will come in. I don't mind that. I could spend a hit to just do Alexander-Arnold to Lewis Hall. To Lewis Hall, and then I hate having Rico Lewis and Lewis Hall on my mind. So to Lewis Hall, and then Rico Lewis can possibly be benched for Mikalenko. So I think I prefer that. So I might do that. The other option is I go Alexander-Arnold out for Lewis Hall, and then Brennan Johnson, who is first on my bench, out for Sacka, and then play him. And that means Chris Wood would suddenly become my first sub. So sorry if that sounds confusing if you're listening to the podcast version, but the things that I have to weigh up for that would be, obviously I'd be taking a hit, but I'd be getting a long-term target in Sacka. I would be going out without Isak. I like Newcastle at home to West Ham more than I like Arsenal at home to Nottingham Forest this week, but I do like Arsenal in the fixtures, prefer them in the fixtures thereafter. So I have to weigh that up as well. And Chris Wood could score. It wouldn't put it past him to score. But I've got a lot of players playing against defenders. Don't like that at the moment. It's a tricky week. I don't mind a hit, though. I'm definitely okay with a hit this week. What I find useful, and other people tell me they find useful as well, is I have the fixtures for the next few game weeks up to game week 16, and I put some notes at the top about what I'm considering. So this sort of highlights that. So game weeks, I put this note here over game weeks 12 and 13 because I've basically got 3 moves I want to make over this period. So I'm pretty certain I'm going to be taking a hit either this week or next week, and I'm minded to do it this week because it gives me an extra defender, and my defense is absolutely terrible at the moment, so it gets me a good defender in Lewis Hall, and it's a hit I'd probably be taking in game week 13 anyway because I'd want Sacka in there. I could just leave it with Sacka and just play Johnson because Johnson has Fulham in game week 13, so I'll be going without Sacka again. I don't kind of like that, but I could do that as well. So Alexander-Arnold to Hall, Solanke to Isak, Johnson to Sacka, ideally over the next 2 weeks. But I could put the Sacka move off until, say, game week 14. But then he's at home to Manchester United. I don't know what shape they're going to be in there, so it might even put them off even further. And also that means that some of these other moves I might want to consider, I'd have to put back more and more, and so my team would gradually get further and further behind. But I don't mind just doing something without any hits at all. Just do Solanke to Isak this week. Game week 13, just leave it. Just leave it. Just play Johnson instead of Sacka, and just hope and maybe just swap and then swap Alexander-Arnold for Lewis Hall then. And then game week 14, then do the Sacka move, or game week 15, do the Sacka move there. But around game week 14, ideally game week 13, the move, well, not game week 13 because Chris Wood plays Ipswich, but after he plays Ipswich, he's got Man City away, Manchester United away, and Aston Villa at home. The ideal move there really is Wood to Pedro for Brighton. So that will give me a Brighton double up, already got for Brigham. So that's the move I would like to make there. So that's why that hit sort of gets me back on track, and it means I can keep upgrading players there. So yeah, I've penciled in game week sort of 14 time, Chris Wood to Pedro, and then game week 15, 16, I'm actually quite free and easy there. Haaland, I'm considering game week 18, 19, 20, something around then. I don't mind going a bit later there. His fixtures are very good, while Salah's stiffen a little bit, but I can do without. I don't really need Haaland, considering Salah has quite good fixtures around that period. But it could be something like, say, West Ham, Bowen, for example. So West Ham's fixtures become really good in game week 14. Got Leicester away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away. The manager could be sacked. The manager could get better. West Ham could get better. Bowen is a player I'd be interested in there. So you can see why I'm not averse to taking a hit, because it sort of sorts my team out, really. It gives it it sort of sets it up how I'd like it to be. And sometimes when I play this game, it's not even about points. It's not even about the rank, the overall rank where you are as well. It's more, I just look at that and think, do I like the look of my team? Does it feel good? Is it set up well for the fixtures to come? And if I think it's not, then no matter, even if, they defy what I think and score really well, which doesn't happen frequently, but if they did, I still wouldn't like my team. And that's why that hit just sorts itself out as well. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. It's a bit of a rambling one this week, but we're coming to the end of the international break. Do have a look at those other videos and podcasts. As I said, the Wildcard Draft one is really, I found it useful to preparing for that, so I hope you find that useful as well. I'm on a couple of podcasts as well. I mentioned the Goals Imminent as well. I've also been on Scout the Game Week that Ryan does. That's wherever you get your podcasts from. Fantasy Football Scout, Spotify, Apple, etc. as well. I've interviewed FPL General. Do watch his show. That was out on Monday. That should be there's a podcast version of that as well. You can listen to that, of which the FPL General gives his views about the week. And Yeah, we cover a lot of ground there. Look at goalkeepers and captains. Good captaincy matrix bid in that. And also talk to Tom Freeman as well about some of the decisions he got. He's got 3 free transfers, the lucky so-and-so. I got 1. He's got 3. And so a lot of the moves I'm thinking that he can just do. I don't think he's got Palmer, so he can just do that move there. So he can get all these great players in and overhaul his team. Good week to wildcard, I think. So good luck with your wildcarding or not. Good luck with decisions you make. In brackets in my head, when I say that, what I really mean is good luck if you've got the same players as me, but don't have such good luck if you've got players I haven't got, like Erling Haaland. But I one of those Homer Simpson moments. I think I just said that out loud. I was thinking that. So, no, seriously, good luck. Good luck with the game week. Good luck with game week 12. I'll be back again next week to see how it all went and see what moves are made and see what moves I'll be planning. And I'll have the usual fixture ticker and notes for that as well. Take care. See you soon.